The Conservative disaster during the local elections has produced three different responses. On the one hand, I'm going to do a Russian thing here with in Russia you can say on the one hand, on the other hand, on the other hand. In English you can't. But let's imagine we're in Russia so I can have three hands. On the one hand, you've got the Labour Party position and the Liberal Party position, which is rejoicing at the tactical voting, which has gone on so well. I think that's a rejoicing that would be shared by some Conservatives as well, who would formerly have voted Conservative. On the other hand, you've got those people who feel that the Conservative Party should change if it wants to achieve success at the next general election. I think the Conservative Party should change, even though it's going to lose at the next general election, because I think we cannot encourage a party to become quite so unpleasant, even if it's in opposition. I think on the one hand, you've got Anne Widdicombe, who was on GB News today or yesterday, I think, saying that she was talking to a fellow called Mark Dolan. She was saying that Rishi Sunak was simply keeping the ship steady, but keeping the ship steady could well see it going to get wrecked on the rock. She said steadiness rather than destination. The Conservative Party at the moment understands the need to keep things calm, but doesn't understand where they're going. A steady ship that could end up on the rocks. I think it's already ended up on the rocks, by the way. But she then goes on and she says that the Conservative Party is down but not out. And Labour, she says, could have done a lot better. She then listed the various things that should have given Labour a lot more traction: the cost of living, the strikes, the inflation. She listed these as if she was proud of these. She said Labour has had modest success in the election. I would say it's exceeded what people expected. And then there's a third hand. And the third hand is people who think that, unlike Anne Widdicombe, who think that the Conservative Party isn't doing enough in the nasty stakes, there are people like me who think the Conservative Party is doing too much in the nasty stakes and should come back to the mid-ground and should be a significantly nicer party. And it's got a short period of time in which to do this. I don't think it's enough. I don't think whatever the Conservative Party does, it's enough to avoid a defeat at the next election, particularly if the Labour Party were to ally with the Liberal Party and to form some sort of arrangement, if not necessarily the sort of arrangement that the Liberal Party had with the Conservative Party before. I think some sort of pact, some sort of electoral pact, and the tactical voting thing, which people have said was so successful, is a sign of that pact already. And we also see that happening, by the way, in Turkey. It would be very interesting to see what the Turkish elections cough up in the next few days, because the Erdogan is facing an opposition which is really a group of electoral pacts, a conglomerate of different parties who are all united only in opposing Mr. Erdogan's party. So those are the three hands. And then at the end of GB News, there was a poll which suggested that the police had not gone far enough. That 76% felt that the police had not gone too far with protesters and with their arrest of potential troublemakers. And Anne Widdicombe, when asked how much she enjoyed the coronation, said it was very difficult to pick out any single moment that she particularly treasured. And at that moment, she suddenly looked almost human. You know, the joys of television.